Sorry I didn't post videos for days. Long story short on that issue is that my house didn't have power for an entire week, and we didn't have internet for at least 5 days out of that, because we checked it on Wednesday, and then we checked it on Friday, and then we checked it on Saturday. And Saturday we had internet, but then Saturday night we got power back too, so that's cool. And also on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we had really terrible cell signal. I think it had to have been related. There had to have been some line or tower down that made our cell service and data really miserable. We couldn't load Facebook. It's crazy. Anyways, my horses, I evacuated them from the barn where I board. And it's not to say that the barn is, falling over or anything. It's just I didn't feel comfortable waiting it out to see if it was going to get worse. And at the time, it was predicted to be a Category 3 hurricane coming straight towards Tampa Bay, which is right near where my barn is. We live on the little, the horses live on the little, whatever it's called, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Pinellas Park area. It's not an island, but I suppose almost. Isthmus, is that what it's called? And anyways, I didn't want to wait, and I was really starting to freak out. If something bad happened to them, it would be my fault for not leaving, and I had the means to leave. I actually evacuated with a client of mine, so we used their 4-horse trailer instead of my 2-horse trailer, and we shared driving so that we could do it just in one leg. And we ended up going to a barn in Alabama that we found on a networking site. There was tons and tons of Facebook groups that had people volunteering for temporary boarding or hauling or shipping and all this other stuff. It was really a great come together kind of thing. Everybody was helping everybody. Anyways, we got to this barn in Alabama, and it turned out to not really be a great fit for our horses. One of the horses that we brought is an off-the-track thoroughbred that is buddy sour, and there was no safe pasture for him and his buddy to be in, so they had to be in stalls. And his buddy is she's very sweet, but she's a little mischievous, and she's smart, she knows stuff. So she pushed on the door to her stall, which leads to a little paddock, and it opened right up, so she went out. Unfortunately, that wasn't a full door. She should not have been able to fit, and she almost didn't. She could have gotten hurt pretty badly doing that, but the door was not secure. And then the buddy, of course, when she left, he was upset, and he started trying to get out of his stall because he's buddy sour, and we know that already. And the stalls themselves were really, really, really deep mud with mats on top. And for a normal horse that is just standing around or might wander a little bit in the stall, it would be fine. But for a horse that's spinning and pacing because he's buddy sour, no way. So we called around and got really, really lucky, and found, on one of those networking sites, I called someone that was listed, and he said he was actually in Georgia. That was my dummy. But he gave me the number to a friend of his. Sorry, I just realized my camera was set up all funky. My phone, it's really an iPhone, it's not a camera, but it's got a good camera. Anyways, so the guy that I called gave me the number for a friend of his who lived in Georgia. So we called him up, and he said, yeah, come on over, no charge. He had stalls, and so we went, and it was really actually a very, very nice barn. Very nice family, very generous, very kind, and they have 300 acres, which is unheard of. Everywhere around us is, 5, 10, maybe 15 if you're lucky. And they have a huge arena. We did not get to go on the trails, even though we had planned on it, but The first 2 days we were there was nice and relaxing, and then we thought, okay, once the horses get settled, we'll go on the trail. But then that third day, it was just rainy, so we did not. But that's fine. We got in a couple of good rides in the nice, big, huge arena, and the horses were safe the entire time and happy, and it was absolutely great. He also gave us the name of a lady who runs a bed and breakfast in town, and so we ended up staying at a bed and breakfast because we had mentioned where we were staying, and he said, oh no, you do not want to stay there. And so we lucked out in a lot of different ways, and then she actually gave me the number for a dog boarding place, because my boyfriend decided to evacuate after we were already up in Georgia. So he came up and brought the dogs, and we boarded them, and we just spent time eating good food, hanging out, taking care of the horses, not worrying. You know, when we were starting to plan the drive back, we started worrying, you know, what's going to be there when we get back, what's destroyed, is there power, is there gas. We made a good route with Gas Buddy on the way up and on the way back, so that wasn't going to be an issue, and we had gas cans to fill up, and we actually lucked out again that my boyfriend did come up. He came up in his car, so we were a caravan of horse, trailer, the truck and trailer, and then a car behind us, and we actually blew out a tire while I was driving, and pulled over, got it changed, and the spare was low. Not like a whole lot, it didn't sag, but you could just tell it was just a hair low, and hauling 4 horses, that makes a difference. Unfortunately, the closest gas station in both directions had no power, so we couldn't fill up, and so the only choice was to keep going. So we did, and we did not find power before that tire went bad and it blew out. So my boyfriend and I took his car into the nearest town, got a replacement tire, put it on the side of the road, and kept on trucking. It was not, that part was not fun, especially because now, of course, there's going to be jokes that I'm cursed, but the lesson is for that is before you go anywhere, check your spare tire pressure, and if you have room for it, pack an air compressor. They make little ones that you can stick in the cigarette lighter. So I remember I used to have one when I drove really junky cars back in the day. So I think that would be a good thing, another item to have in your horse trailer. And now I need to go and check my spare and put an air compressor in there, so the next time I'm prepared. So that's the update on that. The barn, actually, there were two two panels of metal that's on the roof that flew off. One of them got bent, but it was able to be bent back and then just riveted back on. And the other one was riveted back on also. What else happened at the barn? We had a lot of trees that broke branches. Lots of pieces of fence that were broken. A piece of the siding of the front of the barn came off. One tree was uprooted and tipped over. It didn't go anywhere, but it was uprooted. And then, what else from the storm? That was kind of it for the barn. At our house, like I said, we didn't have power for a week. That was miserable. I borrowed a friend's generator so that we could have fans. It was hot, very hot. And I was really just shocked. They said that it didn't hit us very hard, but yet, like, none of the McDonald's has power. I wanted to go use their Wi-Fi. They didn't have power, so they were closed. McDonald's, Culver's, IHOP, Arby's, so many things just closed because they couldn't get power. And then when they did get power back, they were so swamped. I'll show you a picture of the McDonald's that I went to on their first day open. I think it was Thursday. That was their first day open, and they only had a limited menu. They didn't fire up the grill. They didn't fire up the fryers. It was just like sausage egg McMuffins and hash browns and coffee and soda, and that was it. And this was at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, by the way. It was not breakfast time. So that was really unique, and also so many places were out of gas for days and days and days. If they didn't have power, they didn't have gas. And also ice, because we did the thing that Facebook says, you know, fill up a 2-liter bottle of water and put it in your freezer. So we had 3 2-liters of ice, and then I think 4 baggies of ice, like the gallon-sized bags, filled with ice, that we put in the cooler right away when we got back. All the food in the fridge was already gone, because we had lost, I think the house lost power on Saturday, and we got back here Tuesday night. So just for those 4 days, 3.5 or 4 days, the food in the fridge was already bad. The food in the freezer was thawing, so we saved that, and we put it in a cooler with all the ice, and that went okay. But then when the ice was melting, I couldn't go get ice anywhere. I stopped at like 5 different places. All the gas stations, grocery stores were all out of ice, and I know you can go to like McDonald's or Sonic and get ice, a bag of ice from them. They were closed. They didn't have power still. I finally found a Wendy's that was open, and they didn't sell bags of ice, but a guy helped me out, and he said, you know, I understand. And he gave me one of their to-go bags filled with ice, so that lasted a day. And then the next day I was able to find ice. It was really sucky. I mean, I can't imagine with just this amount of catastrophe. It wasn't even really a catastrophe for most of us here. It was just a serious risk, huge risk. So even with it just being a risk and having a lot of trees blow over and down power lines and whatever, blah blah blah, I can't imagine what they're going through down in the islands that got hit. Barbuda, wrecked, gone. The Keys, the Florida Keys, gone. They're not gone, they're still there, but they got trashed. And in the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, they might get hit with Maria right after. I feel so bad for all of them, and I really feel even worse because I can't help in any way. I used up what I have, getting my horses out, getting myself safe, my family safe. I don't have anything else right now. That's it. And that's fine and dandy, but I don't know. So if you have the means to do so, if you weren't recently affected by some kind of natural disaster yourself, you might consider finding a charity to donate, I don't know, 10, 20 bucks to. If everybody donates what they can, it will make an impact. I don't know. It's really tragic what they're going through. So anyways, that's my talk on post Irma. I think I covered everything that I wanted to. Yeah. Okay, well, I will see you later. I've got 2 other videos that I want to make, so keep an eye out. But I did not want to leave anyone hanging any longer because I know a couple of people had asked, and I didn't have any data to respond to anyone. I couldn't even load my YouTube app on my cell on 4G because 4G wasn't running. It was back to like the slowest internet speeds you can imagine on a mobile phone. I remember way back in the day when I was younger, I had the little phone with the number pad, and my internet was faster on that than what I had the past week. So be grateful for what you have. Make sure that you tell everyone that you love, that you care about them, and if you can donate anything to Harvey or Irma victims, I would highly suggest you do that because that will help out. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.